When you seem very resourceful and you seem very capable and you're taking care of things, people do assume that you're fine. And you can't blame them for that. I remember when I lost my mom a couple of years after I lost my father, I was talking to one of my former colleagues and I told him, did you hear about my mom passing? And he was like, oh, yes, we heard. But, we all thought you're fine. And I'm like, why? Well, like, oh, God, you know how to handle these things. And I was like, interesting. So I think sometimes when you're a very capable person, people just assume that you're handling stuff. And this stuff isn't written on the face. So no one can really tell what you're really going through unless you tell them. And again, being a very quiet person, an introverted person, I'm not the person that really is very effusive about what I'm going through anyway. So, yeah. So I think, in a way, it sort of becomes difficult for people to help you, even if they wanted to, because they just don't know what you're going through.
Welcome to another episode of This Queen Says, the podcast where I, Anita Sawyer, will be talking to old girls that I went to school with. The school in question is Queen's College, Lagos, Nigeria, which for me is the best secondary school in the entire world. And one of the fantastic things about the school is that it created a community that I've been able to call upon and draw from their experience. And that's what this podcast is all about, letting them share their reflections and what advice they would give, not just to me, but to others. Part of that community is the guest that I have on. We're both in W together. We both started... I said you were going to introduce yourself, but I'm saying your name now. Ogo, were we in JS1 together?
No, I wasn't. I joined you guys in SS1.
It's a lie. Are you serious? How do I not know that?
Yeah.
SS1? Oh, gosh. All right. I'm going to have to edit the intro to make it sound like my memory isn't terrible. All right. I have Ogo in the guest chair today. We were in W together. We may not have started JS1, but she is someone who I have found to be the most dependable, consistent, and just loving classmate. I cannot think of anybody in our class or maybe in our year that does not see Ogo as just being amazing. So I will allow you formally introduce yourself by way of the first question, which is, we're meeting at a QCOG reunion. Please introduce yourself in 30 seconds or more or under. No pressure.
Hi, my name is Ogo. I am a lawyer, but I've been working in the shipping industry now for close to 20 years. I'm a writer. I love to write. I love books. I love music. I love travel. And yeah, that's me. And not less than 30 seconds, I'm sure, but yeah, that's me.
But you packed so much in there. So when you said that you're a lawyer for 20 years, I wanted to be like, but how, 20 years sounds like such a long time. But it's true. We're old. 20 years, and you're a writer.
Yep.
So where can I find your works?
So I have one published book that's available on Amazon. It's called Two Plays and a Story. Very descriptive title. But if you look for it under Ogo Nwokedi, it's on there. I've always loved to write, and for my 40th birthday, my siblings actually got together and published some of my work, and that's how the published book came about. But I'm actually working on other books now as we speak. Yes. So
I love that. I love that. I'm definitely going to look for it. I'm going to buy it. Maybe we'll even do like a book club as a spin-off to this podcast and have you on, then you read a chapter and then we all applaud.
That would be fun.
And you ask questions. Definitely. So 20 years, a lawyer, shipping, writing, traveling all over the world, maintaining friendships, because that's one thing I'd say that you're really, really good at, and always showing up for people. So how do you do it all?
Wow, it's a good question. How do we do it all? I think women are amazing. Like, we do so many things, and it just seems to come naturally to us in a lot of ways. I think for me, I invest in the things that I enjoy. You doing this podcast is a great example of that, because there has to be something that made you say, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to have these discussions and I'm going to talk about these things and help other people as well. You have many other things that you could be doing with your time, but you take the time to do that. And I think it's the same thing with anything else. If you're interested in people, if you're interested in relationships, and I truly enjoy my friends, my QC friends, I truly enjoy you guys. So to me, it's fun. It's worth it to stay in touch. It's worth it to make sure that we're always catching up with one another. And yeah, I enjoy it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I enjoy spending my time watching K-drama and online shopping. Not that my friends mean any less.
I've never gotten into K-drama. I really should try it. I don't get it, but I'll try it one
I
of
have
these
so
days.
many to recommend. Maybe I shouldn't get you into them. People will say it's my fault. Oh God, you guys disappeared. She's no longer part of the chat that I've stolen her. So, my first question is normally, what would you say to yourself as a JS1 girl? However, as we've now established, you didn't start QC in JS1. So I'm going to have to rephrase it. What would you say to yourself as an SS1 girl about to start QC?
I think I would say to myself what my mother said to me. So I remember so clearly the first day she took me to school at QC. I had gone to another secondary school, federal government girls' school, and I had had an interesting experience. I look back at it now and I'm thankful for that experience. I'm thankful for the things that I went through because I know that it really helped to shape my character. And I made really fantastic friends who are still close to me today. But it was also a very difficult time and very challenging time. And that was why my mother actually noticed that my personality was being affected by the experiences that I was having. And she took me out of that school and I got transferred to QC. So on day one, I remember her dropping me off, very shy and quiet girl. I was concerned about having to make new friends, having to meet all these new girls after 3 years with people that I considered to be really great friends. And I was nervous. And I remember her telling me, smile. Smile, you have a beautiful smile. And the smile is the universal language. It made me feel so much better. And I got out of the car and I walked to the senior block. Everybody looked at me like, who's this girl? We don't know her.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I remember then people would come up to me and be like, oh, you look like this person. Where did you come from? And all of that. And I just kept smiling. I didn't actually say a lot because I didn't have anything to say, but the smile helped a whole lot. So I would say smile. And I would say be ready to explore, be ready to have an adventure. I always think of teenage years as a time of exploring and getting to know yourself, really getting to understand your personality and really finding out what matters most to you. And I think I would tell myself to be open, to try different things, things that I'm good at, things that I'm not good at, because that was another piece of advice I got from my mom. But basically, try everything, I would say. That would be the advice I would give myself.
And you do have a beautiful smile. You really do. No, you do. You do. It's a pity that this isn't video so people can appreciate just how bright your smile is. And your teeth look almost perfect. I am jealous. I'm jealous. So you said girls would come up to you and be like, who are you? You look familiar and things like that. Do you think it was because you were smiling from the onset or we were just a friendly bunch?
I think W girls in particular were super friendly. I think that was it. I'm not sure it was the smile at that point, because I didn't know anywhere. I didn't know where I was going. So I'd ask someone, where's the way to this class? And then they showed me. And I think you guys were really friendly and welcoming. You in particular, because you knew me from primary school. So I wasn't a completely new face to you, although I was to a lot of other people in the class. But yeah, a couple of you knew me already. And so that helped a bit. But yeah, you guys were super friendly, to be honest.
That is true. And I am particularly super friendly. So thank you for calling me out. I do remember that you were shit hot when it came to books and you still are really smart now. I was probably thinking, oh gosh, because he is probably going to take my place as first. Not that I was first, but in my mind, I'd like to think that I was first. And the advice Mum gave in terms of try everything, did you take that to heart? Did you explore, figure out what you like and what you don't like?
So to an extent I did. I was a serious child when it came to academics. I always wanted to do well. So when I first came into QC, you had to choose whether you're going to be on the art side, like the humanities, or on the science
Yeah.
side. I knew I was going to be in the humanities, so I went straight for those subjects. And then one of my electives that I chose was French, and I thought I was good at French. I quickly found out that I did not know anything. Like I was failing, like it was so bad. I got my first result at the end of the first term and I was like, what's this now? Because I got good grades and everything else. And French, I don't know what I got, but it was terrible. And I remember telling my mom, I'm going to drop this French. Like we say in Nigeria, it's staining my white. This is not good. And my mom, I was like, why do you want to drop it? Do you enjoy it? Or you just don't like the fact that you're not doing well in it? I'm not doing well. She was like, you don't have to do well in everything. And that was very freeing, actually. It was very freeing in the sense that, really, if you enjoy something, do it. Like, give it a shot and see how it goes. And I think that's also good in terms of humbling you a little bit. You don't have to be good at everything.
Don't.
No one is. No one is. And that's okay. And yeah, I didn't get much better at it, to be honest. And eventually I had to drop it. But I was glad that I took that advice. And I still apply that to so many things in my life now. I do a lot of things that I'm the worst person in the class. And I laugh at myself because I'm like, girl, you look so silly. But it's fun. And I'm enjoying it. And that's what matters.
I 100% agree. I find for me, if I enjoy something that I'm not particularly good at, it does take me a while to get over my ego. Because I want to be good at everything.
It's just the ego, yeah.
You know, and I don't want anybody to laugh at me and ridicule me. And then you realize that nobody probably cares or is watching, to be honest. And then when you just get into it, it sparks that imagination and that playfulness and that color, which, you know, sometimes in the 9 to 5 we don't always have.
Very true.
I'm going to write this down. Maybe we'll print it as a poster. I can see a book of quotes from this podcast. I think that's absolutely brilliant.
That would actually be a great book. I would buy that book. I would, yeah. Sounds
We have
good.
so many ideas. I might have to have you come back. God knows what we'll end up with at the end. So jumping forward to you being 25, clearly you graduated from QC, gone to university, graduated. Were you doing like a master's? But before I get ahead of myself, the question is, what would Ogo Chukwu of today say to her 25-year-old self?
That's a heavy question. 25 was probably one of the hardest times of my life. At that time, I was doing a master's. I was living in London, but my father was dying of cancer. And he was in London with me, and I was looking after him with my mom. And that was a very, very challenging time, but also a very beautiful time, because I got to spend that time with him. I got to spend the last year of his life. Of course, we didn't know it was going to be that at the time. Painful, but also beautiful. What would I say to myself at that time? I think what I would say to myself would be more based on what happened after. Because at that time, I understand now that I do believe that there was sort of like a divine arrangement that allowed everything to work out so that I was able to be with him and also study, get my master's, have a really good experience in terms of friends, meeting people, exploring, enjoying the studies. But on the other hand, my dad was dying. Once I got through that experience, I didn't realize how deeply it affected me. I really went into a very deep season of grief. And if I were to go through it again, I would deal with it differently, in the sense that I would deal with the grief. I really buried myself in work and responsibility and making sure that everyone else was okay. But I wasn't. Knowing what I know, knowing how much it sort of affected me, I would definitely have taken better care of myself. So that's the advice I would give. I would say, look after yourself. It was a character-forming time, because after that period, after my dad passed, I started working in a law firm. That, again, was a whole different journey. I had a really good experience, but I think the 20s in general are a time to really explore, again, investigate, understand what's really important in your life. And I think it's a good time to even start to invest in the future. But I think for me, I was very much in the grip of grief. But if I was doing it today, I would say deal with the grief. actually process it, actually face the challenging emotions and everything that you're going through. Fight through it. Don't bury it. Deal with it. Yeah.
Grief is a tough one because there isn't a manual.
Yeah, and it's different for everyone.
It is different for
Yeah.
everyone. Am I correct? Like, you're not the firstborn?
No, I'm not. I'm actually a middle child. Yes. Yeah.
So it was interesting that you wanted to make sure that everybody else was okay. Has that always been your role? Or is it more about so people don't have to worry about you?
I think it's a little bit of both. I like to do things and make sure that things are properly done. If I go into a place and something isn't done, I want to get it done. I think part of it is personality. And it wasn't a role that anyone tried to put on me, to be honest. I think it just comes naturally to me. And there's a point at which you also have to look after yourself. I think that really was the missing piece. When you seem very resourceful and you seem very capable and you're taking care of things, people do assume that you're fine. And you can't blame them for that. I remember when I lost my mom a couple of years after I lost my father, I was talking to one of my former colleagues and I told him, "Did you hear about my mom passing?" And he was like, "Oh, yes, we heard. But, we all thought you're fine." And I'm like, "Why?" Well, like, "Yeah, oh, God, you know how to handle these things." And I was like, interesting. So I think sometimes when you're a very capable person, people just assume that you're handling stuff. And this stuff isn't written on the face, so no one can really tell what you're really going through unless you tell them. And again, being a very quiet person, an introverted person, I'm not the person that really is very effusive about what I'm going through anyway. So, yeah. So I think in a way it sort of becomes difficult for people to help you, even if they wanted to, because they just don't know what you're going through. So another thing I would tell myself at that age is talk about it.
In this period that you were going through, because you mentioned that it was difficult, but it was also beautiful, I have to ask, where was your beautiful smile?
Oh, oh man, I am very much like my father. People that knew my dad say that I'm like his twin because this man was going through HELL and he was smiling. He would still ask you, "Please, can you give me this?" And so sweetly and so kindly. And if he could do that at that time of his life with all that he was going through, I was going to keep smiling. And I think, again, I realize now that my faith helped me a lot through that time. Maybe that's why it wasn't even apparent to people that I wasn't exactly coping well. And even to myself, the first person that you're not being truthful with a lot of times is yourself. So it's really important to be able to, when you're alone, tell yourself the truth and say, "Okay, actually, I'm not dealing with this so well," and ask yourself what needs to be done. For me, it was just easier to bury myself in work and in responsibilities and just making sure that everything was okay because that was easier. It's easier to do that.
Yeah. Gosh, the smile that can mask so much. Yeah. I think the whole thing about burying yourself in work, for me, I know where that concept came from because when we're in QC, I used to read a lot of Mills and Boons. And there was always a similar pattern. Meet a guy, fall in love, he withdraws, runs away, the woman throws herself in work as a way of coping, then they come back. So, gosh, I can't believe to me, that concept of throwing myself into work, I was like, yes, this is what women are supposed to do when they are dealing with things. But it's interesting how we take our influences from what we read.
But that thing about the expectation on women to just keep it together, and I think that's one of the reasons why we don't talk about stuff enough, because we're too busy putting all the things together and trying to present this front of, "I have it together, I know what I'm doing." And as women, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to perform. And I think a lot of it is, yes, the influences of things that we were programmed with growing up, the voices we heard, the things we read, things we watched. But I think it's also sometimes just a coping mechanism. So you just put on the mask and then look at yourself and be like, "Yes, I'm getting things done. Everything is in order." Yeah.
So true. So true. So true. So, soldiering on with life, putting one foot in front of the other. What would the Ogochukwu of today say to the Ogochukwu of 35?
The 35-year-old. I think the 30s are such a fabulous decade. I think every decade of a woman's life is fantastic. But the 30s, I think, are really good because at that time you've had a good amount of life experience. You've come into your own in a lot of ways. You hopefully are secure in who you are and unapologetic about it. So, what I would say to myself at that stage is to really just enjoy it. Rock it.
Rockets.
Yeah, say what you want to say, do what you want to do. And if there's anything that you're holding on to that you probably should have let go of, let go. It's okay. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to change. And I think for 35, I would tell myself, do what you want to do. I start thinking about legacy, thinking about what you want to share with others, about thinking about mentorship, about giving back. I think the 30s are a good time to do that. And yeah, enjoy it.
I have so many questions. So you said rocket. Did you rock it? How
Yes.
did you rock it?
Ooh, did I rock it? In some ways, yes. In some ways, yes. I think I was still very much, and I am to a certain extent, still very much wrapped into work and making sure that everything and everyone is fine and being very responsible. Even though I was doing that, I was still making time for fun. I was still getting to travel and experience new places and meet new people. So yeah, I think I did rock it. I probably should have rocked it more in hindsight,
It
but it
was
was
good.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you spoke about pivots, that it's okay to pivot. So where did you
Yes.
pivot from and to?
I think for me, I moved into a new role. I've worked at the same company now for almost 18 years, but I've done different things and I've been open to doing different things, moving to different places. I've lived in so many parts of Nigeria because of work. At the time when I was 35, I had been living on an island for a while, but at that time, I think I was just about to leave the island, which was fantastic because I was tired of living there. I moved to Port Harcourt, then lived there for a short period of time, less than 2 years, and then I moved to Abuja. So I've lived in different places, done different roles at work. And another thing I did at that time, which was really helpful, was I did a master's in creative writing. So my first master's was in public international law, and then this second one was kind of like my fun master's, you know? I did it through distance learning at the University of Lancaster. So I got to spend a week with my classmates, which was really fun. But I really just enjoyed the opportunity to invest in my learning in that way. So that was another really good thing I did around that age, which I would recommend. I would say always study and do what you want to do. Keep learning and learn the stuff you actually want to learn, not the stuff that we're told we're
Yeah.
supposed to do.
Because I was actually going to ask you about the writing. When did that start?
I think writing has always been very much part of me. My siblings tell me that they see me as a writer before anything else because as a child I was always reading or writing. And when I was getting ready to go to university, I actually thought of studying mass communication and becoming a journalist. Ultimately, I chose law. The advice then was law is more versatile, which I do agree with. You can do more with a law degree than with a mass communication degree. Do I agree with that as much now? Maybe not, because to be honest, at this point, you can study anything and make anything of yourself. So I would say writing has always been my first love, a somewhat neglected first love, I will admit, and something that I will always do, I believe.
And you spoke about leaving a legacy, mentorship, and things like that. So obviously, you know, I'm going to ask, is that something you started doing then? Is it something you started doing much later?
Yeah, I would say I started doing it before then. Opportunities to volunteer started coming up in my 20s, working with younger people, encouraging them. I remember during my NYSC, my service year in Nigeria, I did like a human rights talk for young students. I think in my 30s, it became a little bit more structured. And then I started to really look out for opportunities to support, especially young women who had challenges or were trying to raise money for businesses and things like that. And that was when I think it became a little bit more structured. It's not as structured even now as I would like.
And may I ask kind of what inspired you to explore that route?
I think, you know, a lot of things come back to my parents. It was really something that they did organically. They were always supporting one cause or the other. I always have that example around me. There was always someone that my mom was helping in terms of teaching them, mentoring them. She was always going off to talk to someone, and it was just part of
Yeah,
life. I think that's what it has become for me as well. I do think God brings these things my way because randomly I just stumble across someone that has a need that I can help, you know. And I think as well, if you're looking out for those opportunities,
true.
they will come. Yeah.
Gosh, hearing you talk, I'm just thinking foundation and with your creative writing and giving talks, and I could just see like so much ahead of you, and I'm really excited.
It's fun. It's much more fulfilling when you do get the chance to share from what you've learned. And I think we often underestimate what we've learned
Yeah,
over the years.
I
I
agree.
always say that you don't really know how much you've learned until you start to teach someone. I remember like at work when, you know, new colleagues would come in and they would say, now you have to train this person. And I remember the first few times I did that earlier on in my career, I was always amazed at how much I actually had to share because you do just by living and getting on with life, doing things every day, you're picking up so much, and there's so much that you can pour into someone else. We sort of downplay ourselves and say, well, what do I really know? But the truth is, we all know something. We all know, we all have something that we can share. It's something out of the ordinary. When you see someone that you've helped and you can see them hopefully helping someone else and you can see them growing and you can see there's something really beautiful and you know fulfilling about that.
This has got to be one of the most uplifting and inspirational chats I've had as part of this podcast. But this is also part of the reason why I started this, really, because
Yes, yeah.
talking to friends, and often when you ask about what it is that they've done or advised, a lot of people would couch it in terms of career achievements. And I would say, no, share the wisdom that you've gained from life.
It's so true.
So true, so true. So jumping ahead to 45, no, I start that again. I don't want to age you. I don't want to age you at all. So, Ogochukwu, what are you saying to yourself today?
Yeah, so I am 45. So I'm telling myself, I'm telling myself that it's not too late. And I mean that in so many ways. I think in your 40s, again, you've seen a lot, you've done a lot, and you start to think about how much time you have left. I lost my parents in their early 60s. My dad was 65, my mom was in her early 60s. And so when I think of myself at 45, I realize if I live as long as they did, I don't really have that much time left. I do believe I'm going to live longer. But having said that, it just is a reminder because I see what they packed into their lives. I see what they did. And like you said, it's not just in terms of career achievements, even though there were plenty of those. It's also in terms of the impact that they had on other people's lives. It's also about the legacy that they've left behind that we still celebrate and honor. It's about the big picture of life. And so what I'm telling myself now is that it's not too late to get on with the things that you really want to do, that you haven't had the chance to do yet. I'm thankful that I've had a good career so far and I've had a chance to do a lot of different and interesting things and I'm doing them now as we speak. But I know that there's even still more that I haven't done yet that I really want to do. And so I'm telling myself, girl, get out there and do it. And don't be shy. Don't think it's late. Get out there and do it. And I always say just start because a lot of times it looks very daunting when you look at, oh, I'm going to do this and it takes 4 years, it takes 5 years. But the truth is once you start, before you know it, you're done. Regardless of what it is, whether it's starting a business or if you want to study something, whatever it is, just start and you'll find that you'll get it done.
Just start. What are all the things that Ogo wants to just start? Could it be a book? Are you about to announce an exclusive?
Not
Okay.
yet, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I do plan to write more. I plan to publish more. I plan to speak more.
I love that. I think what you said about just starting, because there's so many reasons that come up immediately when you do want to start something. And it's like, oh, you can't do it because time or money or age, as opposed to the yes, actually you can do it because you do have time, you do have the energy, you do have the resources. It may be different. It may not be the financial resources that we always think limits us, but you have the creativity, you have the courage, you have the insight, you have the vision.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're often quick to look at the things that we think we don't have, but we have so much. There's so many women that come to mind. As you were just saying that, I was thinking about someone I know. She also went to Queen's College, but she was a few years ahead of us. She had a really successful career as a pharmacist. And I think she was almost 40 when she realized, actually, this is not what I want to do with the rest of my life. And pharmacy is lucrative. She was making a lot of money, but she decided to go to medical school. She was the oldest in her
Wow.
class. She had her children at that time. I think they were already teenagers or something. But she actually went back
Wow.
and now she's a doctor. So it's truly never too late. And we're capable of so much more than we know if we just tell ourselves to do it. Yeah,
Just
just
do
do
it.
it. And again, even if it doesn't work out the way you thought, then you will at least not have the regrets of, I never tried it. If you try it out and actually I don't like it, it's not for me, that's fine, but at least you give it a shot.
It reminds me of
Yeah.
what you said about doing something because you enjoy it,
Yes.
and also the advice you were
Yeah.
given in terms of explore. Jumping ahead to 65, what would you say to yourself as a 65-year-old?
Oh wow, I love that. I think 65 is a fantastic age. Like I love people in that age range because they are so comfortable in their own skin. Um, at least most of them are. They've had the career or they've done the business, and at this stage, they're doing things that they actually really enjoy. And so that's where I want to be as well. I want to be enjoying the fruits of my
Mm.
labor, the harvest of like all those seeds that I planted over the years, and enjoying working because I want to work and not because I
Yep.
have to work. That's the vision, that's the hope. So I would say to myself at that age, enjoy these years, enjoy seeing the things that you hoped for, seeing them come to pass, and seeing the next generation that came up after you doing even better
Mm.
than you.
I love how you said reaping the harvest, or seeing the benefits of the seeds that you've sown, and then mentioning of the people that you've helped and seeing them blossom. It's really lovely. It makes me wonder. Yeah, I'm going to sound so irresponsible. Are you a plant person? Are you a garden person?
I laughed so much because I am not. I do not have time to grow anything. My mom was very much a gardener. In fact, my youngest sister is like, she's she's an amazing plant person, and my older sister as well. So I'm surrounded by them, but for some reason, I just don't have the time. I don't have the energy, but I
Hmm.
admire them so much. I respect them. I respect them, but yeah, it's not for me. How about
I
you?
I love plants. I do. I do. I do. I really do. I used to have flowers. Same thing. My mum was an avid gardener. They just make me happy. My plant
Hmm.
babies. My plant babies. My plant babies.
Aw.
So we've spoken about Ogochukwu at different ages and the things that she would say to herself, and something you've touched on, the things that women often think about or we limit ourselves. And considering we did go to an all-girls school and we're part of a large community, what are the things you wished women spoke about more often?
So many things. I think the first one that comes to mind is our
Mm.
health. And I don't just mean our physical health, I mean our mental, emotional, and our spiritual health. That holistic picture of what we're dealing with. And every chapter of womanhood comes with its own challenges. And I think a lot of times we don't like to talk about it. It seems too messy to talk about. But I think the messiness of life is really where it is when we can be vulnerable and say, I went through this and this is what I learned from it, regardless of whether that's a mental health episode, a period of depression, a season of loss. I mean, Black women, we deal with a lot of particular
Mm.
health challenges that are quite common, but that we don't really share about enough. I think there's more of that happening, and I'm glad for that, but I think it's something we should do more of. And it helps so much when you know that other people have been on that same journey. It helps you to figure out what you want to do at every point in time when you have someone that you can talk to about that. And I'm really thankful that I do have friends that can share about things like that, whether it's relationships, marriage, parenting, whatever it is, all of these things that affect us in one way or the other. Beyond that, what else? And even in terms of career, lots of times it's just focused on you're climbing up the ladder, which is fantastic. I love that for everyone. But what else? I think we don't share enough about our experiences. When you can tell people about, this is what I went through when I was starting this business, this is what I went through at this stage of my career. These are things that I think we can talk about. We spend so much time at work.
Much.
If you're working a 9 to 5, or even if you're running a business, you will spend so much time working. So much of your life is spent working. And it's so important that at the end of that time, you can look back and, again, that 65-year-old woman can actually be proud of herself and can say, I did my best, I gave it my best shot. Sure, it might not have always gone the way, and it never will go the way we plan all the time, but at least I was true to myself, I think authenticity is very powerful. It's very powerful when people can see that you're being yourself, even if it means swimming against the tide. And it's something that we shouldn't be afraid of. I think a lot of times we are worried about the consequences of that, and legitimately so, because people that go against the tide, a lot of times it doesn't end really well. But I think it's worth it to be yourself and to have to look in the mirror and not recognize yourself, because it happens to a lot of people. It's easy to get caught up in the race, and then you see a lot of people later on in their career, they're not satisfied personally. They might have achieved the heights that they wanted to in terms of progressing through the ladder, but they might not be very happy. They've lost themselves along the way. It's important to not compromise yourself, your identity, your knowledge of who you are. And I think women are sort of more prone to this because there's a lot of pressure on women to conform to a particular image and to be a certain way, to do XYZ, get married by this age or do that by that age. And honestly, who says who says any of those things are true? So I think it's really important to know who you are and to hold to that and protect it.
I think that's going to be the title of this episode. For sure. I agree. So many gems you've given me. Thank you. So our time is almost up, but there is one more round called Rapid Fire. Just answer the first thing that comes into your head. Don't worry, there's no trick questions or anything like that. So you ready? You look pensive.
I am. I'm a bit pensive, but yeah, right. Let's go.
Okay. So, question number 1. What is the last thing you do before you go to sleep?
You're not supposed to think about these things, right? You're supposed to just come up with the answer. But I think it's different every day. I think the last thing I do is just close my eyes, because because I'm like, girl, it's time to sleep. But I honestly, like, every other day, I like maybe it might be something else.
Very true. Just go to sleep, close your eyes. Don't do anything else. Just close your eyes and go to sleep. This is another reason why I will not introduce you to K-dramas, because you will not be able to go to sleep. They're so addictive. Okay, all right. Question number 2. Where do you do your best thinking?
I think in bed. I think a lot of really good thoughts come when I'm in bed, or outside in nature, like taking a walk. I think those two.
Next question. What is a book or a song that you can go back to over and over again?
My favorite book of all time, apart from the Bible. I mean, that's the what's the word? The goats. But After that, it's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I can read that book over and over again, never get tired of it.
Is it Mr. Darcy?
Not so
Elizabeth
much
Bennet?
him. I think what it is the way that she understood human nature. I think it's the observation. It's the way that she described people, and it's so spot on, even though it was so long ago and it's all fictional. I can see so much of what she described in the world around me. So it's the human nature, and I think that's what always gets me in a book. It's seeing human nature. It's seeing myself. It's seeing people that I love and don't love in the pages of a book. I love it. I love it.
So have you ever done the Jane Austen tour when you've come to the UK?
No, I'm not. I'm not that much. I'm not that much of a. I haven't reached that level yet. I'm not doing any talk, but I will read the book over and over again.
Okay. And the final question on the rapid fire is, what is your favorite quote or saying?
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a Bible verse. I love this verse so much. It's Romans chapter 7, verse 14. As many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. I love that verse so much because it speaks to my motivations. It speaks to my core. It speaks to what I was just saying about being true to myself. It speaks to my compass, what keeps me centered, Yeah, so I love that verse. Yeah.
And that's it. See, it wasn't so bad. Little rapid.
It wasn't. It was actually good. It was a good talk. Thank you, Anita. Thank you for having me. I didn't even thank you at the beginning for having me, so thank you.
You're very, I mean, there's nothing to thank. You should be thanking you, especially because, something we said before we started recording. Ogo was there when I came up with the idea for it. It was her and Ayo.
Ayo, yeah.
Remember when I invited you, you were like 100% yes, you didn't hesitate. And as I said at the beginning, you're definitely one of the nicest, most considerate and consistent class members. I shouldn't say that too often because I'm going to have to say that to everybody else from
To everybody, exactly. You're going to have to say this to everyone, but I think it's actually easy when it comes to W girls. W girls, I think, are different. Everyone, we're just really special, I think. I mean, sorry to all the other arms, but yeah, we're special. I really want to congratulate you for actually making this idea happen because so often we come up with ideas and for many reasons and very good reasons a lot of the time, we don't make them happen. So congratulations for actually making it happen and well done.
I really enjoyed my chat with Ogo. It got me thinking about legacy and how we can use what we have, whether it's a little or a lot, to give back and pursue our passions. This passion could be writing a book, running a marathon, or even starting a podcast. If we think about it, the only thing really holding ourselves back is us. So as Ogo said, let's just start. Please let me know if anything in this conversation with Ogo resonated with you, as I really do enjoy hearing your thoughts. And as always, if you or anyone else would like to be on this podcast, please don't hesitate to send me a message on thisqueensays@gmail.com. Until the next episode, thanks again for listening.